Changing minds one thought at a time.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Motivate Social Podcast, where we're bringing you people who are changing the world via social media. I am Dr. Akina Finch, and I can't do what I do without you know who. Vanessa Canterbury. How are you, darling?
I am great. How are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm just waiting for you to tell me what we're going to be talking about today.
All right, now. So today we are going to have a group interview with the amazing visionary and the co-authors of her upcoming book called A Heart of a Therapist. It's been such an honor just to see this process and get to know each and every last one of the authors that's in this book. So we're not going to delay you any further because we need to hear this information, especially what's going on in this world today. We need to understand the importance of the therapist. So I'm going to step back and we're going to go ahead and introduce the visionary Tori Hatter Smith. Are you there?
I'm here. Hello, everyone.
Hello, how are you doing?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having us this evening.
Oh, it is such an honor. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, and Dr. Finch and I, we're going to sit back and allow you to be able to do what you do best, okay?
Okay.
All right now.
Well, first of all, I want to tell everybody thank you for joining us. We will be speaking about the upcoming book that is coming out, The Heart of a Therapist. I have some of my co-authors here with us tonight. I have Miss Bathsheba Maitland, Brother Samuel Johnson, and Elaine Delpit, Dr. Elaine Delpit. She is all of them, one of the co-authors in the book, and you will hear from each one of them. First, I would like to introduce Miss Bathsheba Maitland. Bathsheba, tell us what made you say yes to the anthology, The Heart of a Therapist.
Oh, hello, everyone, and thank you, Tori. The reason why I chose to do this anthology is because it's so much stigma around addiction, and I wanted to shed light and be the voice for the clientele and the patients that I serve. I love what I do. I've been doing it over 18 years, and I just believe that with this anthology, it would shed a great bit of light and dismiss some myths surrounding addiction. And so I'm just excited and still am excited to be able to share my story.
Awesome. Bathsheba, tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I have been in the addiction field for over 18 years, and currently I have a business called Impact One Assessment and Recovery Services, where I lend recommendations to the court system, and I work with probation officers to give recommendations and a voice to criminal offenders. I also run two clinics. I'm a treatment center director where I run two addiction clinics on an outpatient basis. So where we also yield to mental health as well. So that is what I do, and that is what I am doing.
Thank you, Bathsheba. The next author I would like to introduce everyone to is Dr. Elaine Delpit. Thank you, Elaine, for joining us tonight. Tell us what made you say yes to the anthology, The Heart of a Therapist?
Oh, so many reasons. Being a trauma survivor myself, I know how important it's been to try to find someone that could understand me, to help me through the process, to help me to know what being a trauma survivor was all about, or actually a trauma victim until I went to trauma survivor. And I was in and out of counseling from the time I was about 10 years old. And I never had that therapist until I was in my master's program to become a therapist. And so when this opportunity came along, I wanted to put that out there to help people to understand that there are therapists that truly get it, that truly understand and can truly help them.
Thank you, Elaine. Exactly what do you do? Like, you're a trauma therapist, And so how would people get in touch with you?
I work in a clinic in the North Georgia area. And people can reach me through, and I specialize in trauma, not just treating it. I'm a trauma
Right.
specialist, and also working towards that. But they can reach me through Facebook. They can reach me through my website. They can reach me in several different ways. Everything's posted online. When you do a search of me, you will find my name and my business page on Facebook. And you are free to send me any kind of messages.
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Dr. Elaine Delpit. Also, our next co-author is Brother Samuel Johnson. Brother Sam, tell us what made you say yes to the anthology, The Heart of a Therapist.
Peace and love to the family. Well, as I call you Dr. Smith, the way in which you presented it to me, there was no way I could tell you no. In fact, there was something that has always been nudging in my spirit to do more. And I think it was time for me to start bringing that to the world. And I thank you on a daily basis for bringing that out of me and starting this journey with me.
Thank you. So tell the people, how can they get in touch with you and exactly what it is you do? What's going on in the metro area?
Well, as of now, we're transitioning. We're breaking some barriers. We just embarked on doing a joint venture together. We've opened up an agency, and we're doing the groundwork, getting that established. I've also switched jobs. I'm working now with Avenue Recovery, and I'm also invested in my community. My mission is to community build one person at a time. I'm also a veteran, and I'm also a grateful recovering addict myself. So there's a lot for me to do in a short time to do it, and I'm completing my graduate degree as well. So here in New Orleans, there's like this big, I would say, mass community that's just crying out, and I want to be one of the pivotal ones to stand in the gap and help those that are in need.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So there you go, everybody. These are just a few of the co-authors of The Heart of a Therapist. I am now turning it back over to Dr. Finch and Vanessa Canterbury.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to let us all know about all your credentials, because we just don't know a lot about the therapy field, and we need to know, and making sure that people know that it's a safe place to come. So I'm excited to be able to get to know more about their chapters, and just letting the world know they need to get ready for this book because it's coming. So with that being said, Tori, go ahead and allow each and every last one of them to take an opportunity to be able to talk a little bit about their chapter. Okay, so who would like to go first? Who would like to tell us about your chapter, the chapter that you wrote on? Let's start with Dr. Elaine Delpit. Dr. Elaine, tell us about your chapter, because it's powerful. And I love the title of your chapter, by the way.
Thank you very much, and thank you for this opportunity. I consider it a great honor. The name of my chapter is called Spiritual Medic. And that's what I feel that I am. The chapter will take you through how I came to this conclusion, how it involves my faith, some of my trauma history, a drop in the bucket, and from where I came from to where I am now. That place, that dark place I came from, And even as recent as almost 3 years ago, it's been a little over 2.5 years ago, even that recent, that dark place that I was in, and where God has brought me to this point. I've reached the conclusion that a long time ago, we don't get into this field for the money. We are called into this field. There is a draw for us. There was for me. This was not my chosen field. And being called into this field, I take you through that journey, take you through where I came from and how I got to this point, including my faith, including how my faith has changed, how my faith has increased. I'm just so grateful to be where I am now, knowing where I've come from. And that chapter just gives you just a little bit of that journey, and how my spiritual title is now spiritual medic rather than therapist.
Wow, Elaine, thank you so much. I remember when I read your chapter, how it just gave me chills up my arm, and I was like, how powerful this chapter is. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for including me in this. It's an honor to share this with these other authors, and I'm looking forward to actually reading their stories too, and being a part of this group effort, because in order to be an effective therapist and a good therapist, we have to have a heart and have that heart of a therapist. So thank you so very much for including me in this journey.
You're so very welcome. I appreciate you as well. Our next author that we're going to bring back to the platform is Brother Sam. And his chapter is titled, God is the Silence in the Room. Sam, tell us more about your chapter and why you chose that title.
My chapter wanted to touch on so many levels. I had struggles with writing it. I think I wanted to take that chapter and turn it into a book. But the ideological essence of that book was raising the point of using, and I thank you, Doc, for your point that you made with the spiritual medic, but I wanted to raise the point of spiritual psychotherapy, which is often not attributed to one of the major determining factors in treating this disease that we call addiction. So with that, I wanted to give some insight, hindsight, and foresight in the application of spiritual psychotherapy in the advent of treating this disease of addiction, and allowing that spirituality to take place. And oftentimes, we have a problem with silence. Some of the difficult struggles that we have is just meditating, sitting still, being quiet, listening. And I feel that is when our higher power, whatever you choose to call it, is speaking to us. So I wanted to bring light on that point and to raise the point of we need to start expounding on the spiritual psychotherapy element in counseling.
Thank you for that. That's amazing. And one of the things you said is, as a therapist, being able to teach our clients or patients just how to be silent for a little while and just take it all in. So thank you for that. Our next therapist is Miss Bathsheba Maiden. Her title is, and oh my goodness, it was so on point when I read her chapter as well. I am purpose for this. Bathsheba, tell us why you chose that title and a little bit about your chapter.
Hello, everybody. And I chose that chapter because I believe that at some point you're called to help people through things that you've been through, even if it's indirectly correlated or related to what they've been through. And so I've been a person who didn't always make the right choices, and I've been a person who did some things that was wrong. And so me being purpose for this was to show the world that just because we have an addiction, or we have a shortcoming, or we have this disease, doesn't mean that it is us, doesn't mean that our life does not change, doesn't mean that we are what we've been through. And so I'm purpose for this because through my over 18 years of being in this field, I've been able to relate and to directly help the client population, because I understand that sometimes we are misunderstood, and I have been misunderstood. And so my chapter helps shed some myths about addiction and labels and what people think, and to dispel those things, because guess what? We are somebody. We still have purpose. And God still has a plan for our life. And so me being purpose for this was truly just talking about me, myself, and my path, and coming to the point of even being led to this, because this was not my choice. I didn't want to work with people with addiction. It was merely because a professor in my college said, hey, you love people, why don't you do an intern there? And that was history. You know, history started there. And so still over 18 years later, I love what I do. Still over 18 years, I love helping people, and it still brings me joy. And so, hey, me being purpose for this, everybody cannot do this work. Everybody does not stay in this work this long. Truly, Elaine said it, you have to really have a heart of compassion to want to see people better than what they came to you in the first place for. So the chapter is lit. It's going to be good. It's informational. It's transformational. And hey, I'm purpose for this. So hey, you're going to enjoy my chapter. And it's just going to shed some light that don't count us out. Don't count people out, because God is not finished with us yet.
Thank you, Bathsheba. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. And the thing about it is, when you talk about on purpose for this, one of the things a lot of people don't realize, it takes a big heart to be a therapist. Can't just know anybody come to this platform and do it. And one of the things you'll find in this book is that there are so many different platforms in this field that a lot of people don't know about. So I'm excited. I'm excited for people to get the book. I'm excited that I have such wonderful co-authors that have joined me along this journey. So yes, please, reach out and get the book. Get the book. You're going to learn so much about each and every one of us, and what it means to just be a therapist behind the background. So thank you.
Tori, that was absolutely amazing. And the authors, I'm looking forward to reading each and every last one of your chapters. My question to Tori, the visionary, how has the process been with this from the beginning to the end? And then also give a little bit about your chapter.
The process has been honestly challenging and rewarding. The challenging part is just making sure everything comes together as I vision it to come. And the rewarding part is that it all came together. And each therapist chapter is so different. Their stories are so amazing. And my chapter, the title of it is A Better Me. And the birthing of A Better Me came out with my journey as a therapist and who I am today. So in that chapter, you get a little about how I started out in therapy, all the way up to some of the challenges I had as a therapist or have as a therapist, the administration part of it, just a lot of the background that most people don't get an opportunity to know about. So it's a better me, and it made me into the person I am today. Just knowing that in order to do this, you have to have a heart for it, knowing that the people that sit across from you, there is no judgment that takes place there. You're just listening to their stories. You're listening to what it is they're going through, and you start to immediately think, okay, how can I help this person? What can this person get out of this? So this book is going to answer a lot of questions as well, but it's also going to help a lot of people see that, you know what, therapists go through some things too, not just me, and it'll help them relate to us more, but on a different level. And for those that are up and becoming therapists, it'll really give them that other point of view and what to look forward to.
Wow, wonderful. I would like to know uh, who did you work with as a publisher, and why did you choose that particular publishing route?
Um, I work with Inspired by Vanessa. And that's because of the conference I attended last year, Breaking Barriers, and the opportunity of being able to step out of self. Because this pushed me into a whole nother level, a whole nother platform that I never envisioned myself on, or should I say, I saw myself on, but I didn't know how to get there, because it's always been challenging for me. And also, I didn't even realize I had the self-esteem to do it. Even now, being on this interview is taking a big part of me right now. But it's allowing me to step out of self. And that's what needed to take place. And knowing that I could do it. Like, one of my favorite scriptures that I stand on is, I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And Christ and God is just giving me the strength to do this. And I'm very, very excited.
Well, thank you so much for trusting the process of putting this book out and challenging yourself, and being willing and open to be stretched during the process, because I know it's not anything easy. By far, it's nowhere near easy. But just to see how it's coming together, and now you're at the finish line, is absolutely amazing. And I really commend you on that, because a lot of people would have stopped a long time ago. They just would have just gave up, and you didn't. You continue to push forward, and to be able to bring your vision to light. So that alone is so commendable. And now you have also provided, other authors to be able to share their stories as well. So, I mean, come on, you did that. Sorry, you did that.
Thank you.
So, what is your next goal with this book? That's what I know a lot of people would like to know. What's the next goal?
Well, the next goal with the book is the journal that is coming out alongside of the book. I'm excited about that. Journaling from the heart, that should be coming out with it. That gives people, it gives them an opportunity to write and to journal. I'm really big on journaling. So I wanted people to have the opportunity to be able to have affirmations. So each page have an affirmation on it, and it's just an encouraging thing. So they're staying encouraging while they're writing their thoughts down, and staying motivated to push themselves to the next level and see themselves in a different light.
Wow.
Yes. So now that you have the journal, now that you have the book, what would you say to upcoming authors that believe that they have a book inside them, and this is to any of the co-authors as well. I would love to know all of your opinions. What would you say to somebody who has a story inside them, has a book inside them, and just needs that little push to make them say, okay, now is my time?
I would say go for it and step outside of your comfort zone, because you'll never know unless you do it. Any pride that is there, put it to the side and give yourself more motivation, and know that you deserve this platform. Know that you deserve to be on other platforms as well, and just encourage yourself. Don't let nothing hold you back. Don't let nothing stop you from whatever your dream is or whatever your vision is. Everybody has a book in them that needs to be birthed out. But Sheba, what you say?
I say it's important because writing a book, and even from being in anthologies previously, those stories that we write are answers to someone else's prayer. And I think we all have a story, and we don't know what our story would do. And it can help on so many levels. It could provide breakthrough for you as a person, but also provide an answer to somebody that might be going through a similar situation. So if you're sitting on, should I do it? And you're thinking about it, and it has been something that has been gnawing in the back of your mind, that means you should absolutely do it, because you have something that can help somebody else. If that is for nothing else, I share my story, number one, because I wanted to show my nieces and nephews that, some things that we deem as hard is not really hard. Number two, I had a story to tell. And so in every anthology that I have participated in, it has been a part of my life that I've shared and got great feedback, not only from my story, but the stories that were shared by the other authors as well. And so if you're thinking, should I share my story? I would say absolutely, because your test is your testimony that can help somebody else. And whatever mess you came out of is your message, and it needs to be shared to the masses. So don't hold yourself back. You're somebody's answered prayer.
Wow, thank you, Bathsheba. Dr. Elaine?
Yes, ma'am.
How would you encourage the next author to birth their book out?
Well, I think that sums it up. You have, don't be afraid. Everybody has, to use Vanessa's words, everyone has a book inside them. One of the things that Oprah used to say, and that caught my attention, is that she would say, if you have information that can help someone else and you don't share that information, then you're being selfish. Don't downplay your story. Don't downplay thinking that you don't have something to offer someone else. You never know when you're that one person that's got that answer, because no matter how many of us that there are, no matter what we specialize in, no matter where our passion is or where our calling is, there's not one of us that can reach everybody. So this is a group thing. This is a group effort. This is a thing that we're doing together, because the people I can't reach, maybe someone else can. So it's about reaching that person, not outdoing each other, but reaching that person. So don't take for granted what you've got in you that you can share with someone else. You never know, that one word may be that life-saving word that they need. So don't let fear interfere. Fear causes a lot of damage. Don't do that. Work past it, push past it. I think I heard Vanessa say that to me many times when I was when I was doing my first book. She helped me to push through that, to say, you can't let fear interfere, because somebody needs that word. Somebody needs to hear that story. So believe in yourself.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And not last but least, Brother Sam.
I think you all stole a lot of my answers. But as you all talking, I'm turning around and I'm looking in my den, and I got this humongous set of bookshelves, and I have an extensive library and a lot of books I've read. And I always made it a point to get intimate with the author. I wanted to find out their intellectual perspective. I wanted to find out where they were from. I wanted to find out what year and what timeline was their work written in. I wanted to try to find out what were they thinking and why did they write what they wrote, you know? So a part of me starting this journey, I started to realize that it's about the connectivity and the relationship. And the relationship, it supersedes more than just the pen to the paper. This relationship is universal. And I think as we started to write and to share our thoughts and ideas, it takes on a global, international perspective. I was able to meet some of the most prominent people in my life in a book. I was able to travel to some foreign places in a book. So why not me? Why not I? So I figured that it was time for me to start creating that legacy and for me to start connecting with the community and for me to start building some of those relationships.
Wow, thank you for that. Thank you. So,
This has been absolutely amazing to hear all of your stories, your journey on sharing the process and the benefits that come from trusting the process. So we take our hats off to each and every last one of you who took that leap of faith and said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and share and be transparent, just to be able to help somebody. So Dr. Finch and I truly appreciate you sharing your stories with us. With that being said, we're going to get ready to close out of this amazing interview, but we wanted to make sure that the audience make sure they stay tuned for the upcoming release of The Heart of a Therapist. This is a book that you really, really want to support, and you want to be able to connect with the authors that's in the book, because the stories have been very, very informative, and is going to open up your eyes to be able to understand them a little bit more, especially coming from a therapist. As I say many times, we all have a story. Your story is somebody else's survival kit. Share your story. And that's something that these authors did in this book. So again, Dr. Finch and I thank you. Please make sure that you stay connected with us on all social media platforms. Change Your Minds Online on Facebook, on Instagram, and make sure that you have your notifications on so you can be connected with all the upcoming interviews, including this one. So don't delay, stay tuned, and make sure that you let us know, how are you liking these interviews so we can continue to bring you more. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, Dr. Finch, so she can be able to fill in the blanks to what I know I already missed, because I always do. That's why I cannot do this without her. It's the dynamic duo. This is what we do. Dr. Finch?
Yes, thank you so much, Vanessa. So we are on iTunes, Stitcher, Tuned In, Spotify. The list goes on and on. And so definitely tune in. And of course, our host, Blog Talk Radio. Tune in to these. You can get them on your phone, share them out, and also make sure that you make a connection with the interviewees. They shared these stories, they touched your heart, and now reach out to them and let them know how well they did. So on that note, thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this podcast today. And of course, to everyone listening, we appreciate you greatly. Good night, everyone.
Good night.